It's a very simple process. It happens everywhere on Earth already, essentially, without our intervention. How far could you push it? How impactful can you make the technology?
I mean, from a market demand standpoint, we need it more than ever. You've been on quite the journey with Form. Breakthrough Energy Ventures has had the honor of supporting you from early days, really, when you were just coming up with this idea and thinking about what are we going to do about the storage solutions that we need in the future. And so can you just walk us through those early days when this idea came to you? What were the early ideation steps that you took?
I've been in batteries now for over 20 years. So when I was thinking about what to do after I left Tesla, where I started the energy effort there, I really was thinking about the frontier of energy storage. Lithium-ion is a fantastic technology, but it's not cheap enough to be long duration enough to solve a lot of these really challenging intermittency challenges with renewable energy. And so that was sort of the precept for starting the company. How do you come up with a battery that solves this multi-day duration storage challenge? So that's what we ended up doing. We are rusting on discharge iron, and then we are unrusting on charge that same iron. But what we've done is taken that electrochemistry process and embodied it in a device that we can manufacture at scale, at high volume, at low costs, and with great safety. Roughly 1% of the hours of the year dictate about 40% of the costs of the electric system. If you can unlock those critical few days out of the year that drives all that cost, the reliability, then you create just enormous value, multiple trillions of dollars worth of value. Breakthrough's been there from the very, very beginning. Even before we really founded the company, I was talking to the people that were going to be part of Breakthrough. Breakthrough was one of the first checks in. They co-led our first round of financing back in 2018. The support has just been phenomenal throughout the last 8 years.
Obviously, we've scaled too now. So Breakthrough's been around for about 10 years and have 3 funds, over 130 portfolio companies, but many of those investments are tied to the grid. So we're still collectively trying to figure out the storage situation. And so I know you've got to interact with a lot of the CEOs, but it really helps, having a partner in it for the long haul. And we can't do any of this without partners. So the Earthshot Prize is also a joint partner that we share. We've had the opportunities to be members of the Earthshot Prize and nominators, and have had many of our portfolio companies that have been finalists. We've had a few winners as well. But talk a little bit about what this has been like for you going through the finalist journey with Earthshot.
We've finished sort of all the development of the technology. The first customer shipments are starting now. And so the next phase is really where the Earthshot does come in. How do we get this to be as global a solution as we possibly can make it? And the markets for this type of technology are truly global. There's no sort of geographic restriction on the need for multi-day duration storage. And working with the Earthshot community is one way that we expect to really drive that scale as we really go from here. And that timeline is sort of just now getting into 2030, but we really expect 2030 to sort of be the launching pad for us in terms of timeline. I mean, we're talking about tens or hundreds of gigawatts, right? This is tens of hundreds of billions of dollars of investment, and just deploying that much capital, building that much infrastructure, tech really does take decades. And so we're making sure that we're investing in the right partnerships now that let us go do that. And we see the Earthshot as being a critical partner for that.
I think your technology is coming into the right time to be scaling up, right, with all of the AI, with all the demand in data centers, all the pressure on the grid. So I'm really excited for how this is going to help open those doors and those conversations to get you into these markets.
What really is sort of motivating at this stage is seeing the impact. So we're finally out of the R&D and the engineering stage, we're in the manufacturing stage and the deployment stage. And that is just incredibly gratifying when you can finally see the product get deployed into the market, make a difference for the customers and for everybody who benefits as a result.
I feel very similar about the inspiration, and at Breakthrough, what we're trying to do is I'm fortunate to meet with entrepreneurs daily from around the world, and we review applications and ideas that we haven't even thought about. And so we are incredibly inspired by just the ideas that people are continuing to come up with, and being surrounded by these hyper curious people that have an obsession of, we can do this better, we can create more affordable, more sustainable, a more prosperous future. And so I love being close to that edge. I love being close to the entrepreneurs that are going to solve these problems, and being surrounded with the Earthshot community just to figure out how we can help them. We may not always be the direct investor, but I always like trying to find ways to be helpful, help them find a team member they need or some other partnership. So just being close to this is incredibly inspiring.